How's it going, Dave from Comic Book Investments? So I haven't done one of these videos in a while. This is going to be a market analysis of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1. This is where I kind of break down the numbers, see kind of like how much it was back in the day versus today, how much it's gone up, compare it to other things like stocks, and just overall see what's happened with this book. So, obviously this is the first appearance of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Kevin Eastman and Laird. It's one of the biggest, I think it is the biggest indie comic book of all time, not just for its run, because it had this run, then it also had the Archie run, then it's had, the IDW run, a bunch of different runs, but it's also spawned, movies, multiple cartoons, multiple movies throughout all generations, just tons of money and toys, all sorts of stuff. So obviously this is a massive comic book. So let's see where it has been and where it is now. So let's start off with the 9/8, and this is for the first printing. Currently, one has sold recently for $230,550. Wow. But back in 2017, you can get that same 9/8 for $27,222. And then in 2012, that 9/8 would have cost you not too much less, but $22,752. If you start from 2012 to 2017, that is a 5-year return of only 20%, so not that much. But then if you go from 2012 to now, that's a 10-year return of 913%. If you look down here at the bottom, you can compare it to like the Dow Jones, S&P 500, Amazon, and Apple. Both Amazon and Apple have been massively great stocks over the years. And as you can see, it pretty much beats most of them other than Amazon, with the Dow Jones only getting you 149% in a 10-year return. So not very much at all. So if we scroll over here to a 9/4, we can see a 9/4 currently sells for about $39,999. That was the most recent sale. A 9/4, 5 years ago was about $6,000, and 12 years ago, or 2012, 10 years ago, was about $4,500. That is a 5-year return of 30%, but a 10-year return of 771%. Not as much as the 9/8, but still pretty good. What else do we got here? We got a 7/0. One recently sold for around $15,000. 2017, it sold for around $3,000. And then 2012, that same 7/0 sold about $1,750. That is a 5-year return of 71%, which is good. Not amazing, but pretty good. And a 10-year return of 757%. That is pretty crazy. So yeah, as you can see, pretty much across the board, you're looking around 700 and 900% returns on this Turtles 1 first print over the last 10 years. Now, can I see this going up another 700% in the next 10 years? Probably not. That is way too much. But, will I see this book continuing going up? Of course. I think there's still room in this book to go up. I mean, it's going for $250,000 for a 9/8. I would not be surprised if, I would be surprised, but at the same time, not surprised if like in 10 years, one sells for like $1 million or something like that. Like, I wouldn't be like, oh my gosh, it's out of the blue. I could never have foreseen that. It's a Turtles 1. They were a limited run to begin with, and that's why they had so many printings. And they're making a new movie with Paramount and Nickelodeon that comes out in probably like a year or two. The Turtles have been around for generation after generation after generation. Every new generation has a new iteration, but of the same Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They're going to be around for the next generation and the generation after that, and so on. Just a huge franchise. But let's compare to the other printings, and let's see how they did. Remember, the first printing you're looking at about in a 10-year return, about 700 and 900%. Let's see how the other printings do. All right, you got for a 9/4, you got the second print, a 10-year return of 1,025%, so actually the highest. And then a third print, 10-year return of 613, and a fourth print of only 156%, which isn't bad if you compare it to, like, it beats the Dow Jones, but doesn't beat the S&P 500. So it's actually quite, it's okay. Not amazing. You definitely want that first print though. That's basically, the second print went up quite a bit as well. Second print's pretty good. It's just, a lot of people can't afford the high first print, so they go to the second print. I know a lot of people are like, why are you comparing to stocks? Because I look at it as like an investment opportunity in comics. Not only are they cool, but also an investment opportunity. And a lot of people are like, well, stocks and comics aren't really the same. Yes, there's pros and cons to each. With stocks, you can just go on your app, sell it like that pretty quick. With a comic, to get like top dollar, you might have to sit on it. You could throw it in an auction, but you're losing a percentage. You could try to sell it yourself, much harder. So it's harder to do. But then on the upside, with stocks, everything goes straight to the government, any capital gains tax, all that stuff, you got to pay. With comics, you could do deals outside of those realms, and you could do it in cash, or you could do it in trade, or you can do it in something where the government really can't track, how much is made on that particular sale. So you could save yourself in some taxes. So yes, is it going to be a little harder to move? It's not as liquid, but it's also not tracked. If you own something like stocks and you went through a divorce and you didn't have a prenup or anything like that, then they would look at your portfolio and they would make that split. Comics, hard to kind of track that stuff and find out where it is if you decide to hide it or you lost it or whatever you decide to do with it. Can't really split that as easily. So it's easier to hide, things like that, move around. So there's pros and cons to both. I'm not saying they're equal, but I'm saying that you can look at both of them as an investment. And that is the purpose of this video, to look at comics as an investment opportunity, as long as they're fun. Because hanging a stock on your wall isn't that fun. Hanging a comic book on your wall is very fun. Have a good day.
You'll be here through these highs and
Stream my new song, Highs and Lows, out now.